happening at the marches in Pretoria, as thousands of protesters who are demonstrating against President Zuma have already started their march from Church Square, where they gathered early this morning to the Union building. Standing by in Pretoria, our reporter Ofentse Setimo. And Ofentse, it certainly doesn't seem that the rain has kept marchers away, and it seems to be clearing up there. Tell us a bit about what's happening at the march. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. We're actually coming to you from Lillian Ngoyi Street and Madiba Street, where there's actually a hive of activity. As you mentioned, the marchers have already departed from Church Street, which was their assembly point. And as you can see behind me, there's a kaleidoscope of color with people from different opposition parties marching along the Pretoria streets, trying to vent their anger at the President Jacob Zuma administration, saying that he should step down for the sake of the country and for the sake of South Africans. And basically, when we were walking along the streets of Pretoria, we noticed that most of the shops, especially on the streets that the protesters will be marching on, there's a complete shutdown. Most of the businesses decided not to take the risk of being looted or anything like that. But so far, ever since the marchers departed from Church Square, they've proceeded quite peacefully. And another interesting story that we actually came across was one of a vendor who's actually selling some fruits and some vegetable, mentioning that there's a long weekend coming ahead, and he's stocked up a lot of fruits, a lot of snacks that he actually wants to sell to some of these protesters, so that the stock does not expire in the long weekend, that people will actually be heading to different holiday destinations for the Easter weekend. So there's definitely a hive of activity, and Pretoria CBD, as we speak right now, there's a complete shutdown.
Ofentse, as far as police visibility goes, what's the security situation like there? We know they said yesterday they weren't going to take any chances, and they are prepared for the march today.
Yes, definitely. The police have definitely been proactive. We saw since yesterday there was some barbed wire there at the Union buildings, and there was also some police presence when we crossed last night around 6 o'clock. We saw there was some police vans that were actually keeping a close eye there. And on all the designated streets on which the marchers are protesting, there was definitely some police cordoning off and ensuring that there's no clash between the motor cars and some of the protesters. And also yesterday, some of the EFF supporters arrived from 7 o'clock yesterday. So we saw them assembling at Sunnyside, and some of the roads were already blockaded by then. And as compared to the previous march by Save SA, most of the protesters were scattered all over the city center, making it very difficult for the police to actually keep a close eye. But as things stand now, they're definitely on top of things, and they're definitely in control. There hasn't been any incidents of intimidation. There hasn't been any incidents where, there's intolerance, because as you can see, most opposition parties in their different colors are definitely united with one call, which is calling on the president to step down for the sake of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Ofentse, just looking at those pictures, it's a sea of red, but as you say, it's all the political parties out there, the Democratic Alliance, also some other smaller parties.
Yes, all the parties actually heeded the call. Most of them are here. They arrived in the early hours. Some actually had a night vigil, arriving like in the late evening last night. So definitely most are here. And the numbers, it's actually very hard to speculate as to how many people are here. But definitely, as you can see, it's thousands and thousands of people, all clad in their different colors. Even ANC supporters are here. Some who feel that, no, the leader definitely has to step down.
All right, Ofentse, just clarify for us what happens once they get to the lawns at the Union buildings. We're getting, hearing reports this morning, no official memorandum or document will be handed over. Is that right? Just give us a bit of clarity on that.
Yes, the previous marches, the fact that there was confusion about the legality was the fact that there was no one from the presidency to actually come and accept the memorandum. So as a prerequisite for a march to be approved, there has to be someone from the presidency or from whichever department where the protesters are marching to say that yes, we will definitely deploy someone who will come and accept the memorandum from the marchers. So once they get there will definitely be some speeches by some of the leaders, and we expect a representative from the presidency to come and accept the memorandum of demands from the protesters.
All right, Ofentse, thanks so much. We'll leave it there, and I'm sure we'll check in with you. That's Ofentse Setimo live from Lillian Ngoyi Street in the Pretoria CBD, where he says it's a complete shutdown in the CBD, but a few vendors are making things work there, selling some fruit and snacks to the marchers that are walking past. So a sea of red and a sea of other colors as the political parties have joined forces to march to the union buildings, and as he says, I'm sure that there will be speeches once they get to the lawns of the union buildings. But police also keeping a watchful eye. But it seems to be quite peaceful, and they set off on time from Church Square, making their way to the union buildings.